Hi, my name is Kiran Babla. I'm an animator. I've been doing this for like 7 years now. Worked at Sony ImageWorks and a little bit at Blue Sky, but mostly been freelancing for the last couple of years. Now I'm leading in TV. This month's winner is David Munoz. Well done, David. So I actually went over this before this review. Now I'm not a 2D animator. Well, first off, let me just say this. It looks great, David. Really good job. But I'm not actually a 3D animator. So I'm going to give the notes as an animator. But there are going to be a few things that I might not be able to note on, such as like, quality of the drawing, etc. But, I've got an eye, and that's the best thing I can lend you. My brother, however, is a 2D animator. So he did actually look at this with me. So a few of the notes were coming from him as well. So we'll watch it once over. I'm just going to turn off the sketches. Nice. Alright, so, like I said before, first things first, it looks great. Like, it's really clear, it's obvious why you won. I think there are a few things that caught my eye that I'll go over, but overall, it looks great. It looks great. Starting with the walk coming in, it's really nice. It's clear that you've done a cycle, and I think there's a place. There's you could. There's something you could do in this to make it maybe break it up a bit, just to make it not look so cycly. That was one of the first things I noticed. It was very obvious that you did. I think it's like a 13 frame cycle, and it just doesn't make it feel as alive as it could. So I was thinking something like around about here. He's got these two steps. He's holding the pot, and I was thinking maybe by like this step here, he throws the pot up a little bit just to readjust his hand. So if you can see here, like the pot would go up a bit, and his hand would come up. Something like that I think would help break the shot up a bit to not look so static. But it seems to me that the whole shot itself, you have a time constraint, and so obviously being able to do 13 drawings and then copying and pasting is pretty efficient, considering this is probably something you're doing on the side of work and whatnot. So I can understand why you chose to do it. But obviously, as a critique, I'm, suggesting places that could be improved upon, and I think that was one of them. Just where, maybe this step here, yeah, just adjust, and then as the pot lands in his hands, it could sort of have a little bit of overlap in his head. I think that would really help you. Speaking of where I'm just going to go for broad strokes first. At the end, I noticed this bit here. If I just turn the drawings off, I felt like everything had pretty decent pacing throughout, but the major other thing, if the first one was the walking, is just this run out right there. I feel like, and I'm just taking a guess here, that you maybe spent quite a lot of time on everything else, and then right at the end, you maybe got close to the deadline, and so it was like, I need to get this guy out of the screen as quick as possible, because it seems to me like, these are lovely drawings, by the way, but as soon as he hits the ground, it's 5 frames before he's out. And so I think overall you could probably get a pause here as he hits the ground, maybe a squash and a bit more of an anticipation before he pops out of the screen, and maybe just maybe 1 or 2 frames here, just of ease into the run, and maybe just sort of a frame between 197, sorry, 198 and 199. You know, just something to make that run out not feel as quick, if that makes sense. I did do some draw overs, so this is where I can get into like the nitty gritty. I was thinking just in terms of like pacing again. He comes to this sort of stop right here, and then so he walks forward and he comes to this little stop right here, and then he like lifts up the pot a tiny bit, grabs it, and then puts it down. And I was wondering if you cut, and I haven't edited this yet, so this is something maybe you could try out. But if you cut out these frames, something like 84 to 90, those 6 frames, I think you would get a nice like flow from the walk straight into the jump, straight into the pot throw in the air. Because right now it's like dum dum dum, comes to a stop, wow. And I just think it makes the shot feel like it's very separate beats, if that makes sense. I think this would make it flow a little nicer. So as he walks, like just as he's coming to a stop, he's throwing the pot up in the air, you know. So it essentially skips this stop. I think that could look quite nice. Stuff's lovely. Where I thought it could be kind of nice, I think you could get a little bit more of a smear frame on this frame, perhaps, just to blend that out. And I was wondering if you could cut this frame here, because if you're looking at the foot here, I wonder if it, you know, you got this nice smear. If the next frame was simply his legs closed, I think that could, you know, make that nice and snappy into this lovely pose here. Like this is a lovely one. There you go. You can see I already put a note down to say hold it for longer. So here I was thinking where he like this little hold up here. I was thinking you could do something kind of cute with like the moustache. So maybe the moustache has a little overlap, and as he's in this, he holds this pose. I don't know if you can see me. I can't see myself. Holds this pose for a little longer as the moustache goes. You know, like it has a little like a up and. Don't know if you can see it. There you go. Little up and then down. So like, whoop, and then back down. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I just thought that could be kind of cute, you know, having the little moustache being the overlap. I think maybe I would have liked personally to see a tiny bit of more of a beat as he comes to a stop here, just so you can have a tiny breather. And you know, a lot of these notes I'm about to give, I think, are quite subtle ones that, you know, in my opinion, will make the shot feel a little, you know, it'll flow nicer, but it's very much subjective. I'm just going to charge my pen. So I was thinking here, like where the pot sort of leans across to the left. You know, it'd be nice if it held a little longer. Like, so rather than just, it would be like. This was a note actually that one of my supervisors gave years ago. It was Nick Bruno, who was at Blue Sky. He's directing now. He said, if you think in sound effects, sometimes your shot can have a much nicer timing. So if I was to think about the sound of the pot here, it's probably going, you know, and it's very even, and you can see it, you know, you can see it even in the drawings itself. But sometimes when you hear it, it makes it a bit more obvious, you know. So if you think in sound effects, if it was like, you know, you would know that you want to hold it a little there, and then it snaps back quick. So I'm thinking you could probably have a couple of hat frames here as it leans across. You know, that the ease in here is a bit snappy, so holding it on 127 for a little longer, I think will look a bit nicer. Little things such as, you know, these are again just subtle, like maybe the burst out here, there's a little bit more overshoot with the arms before they snap back. That could look kind of cute. And I'm very aware that a lot of these things, in CG, giving a note like that is so straightforward. You literally just take the rig controls and sort of stretch them out, and it will take a few seconds. So I'm very aware of giving notes for a 2D animation. I know that it's a different process, and so it's not as easy just to, even just having to erase it and draw it again just takes a little longer, I think, than doing it in the computer. But I'll give you the notes nonetheless. Here I was wondering if, rather than having, I almost feel like, in animation you want to lead the eye with good staging, and I think here when the I actually don't know what you call this thing, like the plant pops out. I don't know what the name is in Nintendo. Piranha plant. So when the piranha thing pops out, I think you've got this nice reaction on Mario. But I almost think it took my eye away. So I want to be looking here. Let me just get my pen out and draw here. 1 second. There you go. I want to be looking here. And I found that just because of his movement, just here, it's very small. And this is a tiny note, but I just think it might have helped you if you had kept him in this pose here. So if you would, I'm just gonna put keep. If you had kept him in this pose, then my eye would be here, and not here. And you want to be able to lead the eye. So by you doing the little movement of Mario here, takes away from what you want to be looking at, in my opinion. So I would, maybe have kept him in this pose, and I just do these little lines for the eyes. Maybe just had his eyes just and look up. That way, you would be able to focus on this thing. I think in terms of the timing of the piranha plant coming out, I think I would have just liked it, because it's such a quick movement. I would have liked to have just seen those drawings on ones, because twos make sense for a slower movement, but him popping out, obviously it's another, couple of drawings you have to do, which is a lot more time. But I think it being so quick, I think you could have done with a couple more drawings here, just between these two frames. By the way, this thing here, I'm gonna draw it. I love all this. This fall is so cute, like the way he hits the ground. I really think this is a good, what would I say? This is a good case, like for simplifying stuff. I think you've simplified it really nicely. Like, you could have done, like, he hits the ground. You could have had his whole, like, you could have done like a squash, but I actually like that you didn't do that, and he just hits the ground. I just think that's really, really nice. It just makes it feel like very I felt it. So I really, really like this bit. Yeah, it's really cute. One thing I thought would be really nice here, this frame between 186 and 187, I think you could have done with like keeping 1 foot on the ground. Just maybe he would be a little lower here. It's just to get that nice flow between those two frames. Right now, the foot coming off the ground felt like it was not as connected. I think that could have been nice with the foot there. So here I found like the timing overall. I'm going to get rid of the drawings again. The timing overall here, when he jumps up, I think it was very quick. I didn't have any time to breathe, and I think what would have helped you is, or what could help you, is holding him up in the air here. So, you've got the piranha plant snapping forward, and I think what could be nice is, where are my drawings? yeah, the piranha plant could snap forward, so you really see the straight, because the curve in the plant kind of I don't feel the energy. I think if it was straight, snapped forward, and it curved on the way back, I think you'd really feel that, the snap. You do it on the next one, I believe, right here. Yeah, I think you could stretch this out a little longer, a little further. So, yeah, I feel like the form of the piranha plant almost shrinks a tiny bit. Just here, I think with the straight, you could probably stretch it out. Yeah, where Mario jumps up here, I think you can hold it a little longer. And sorry, my phone's ringing. You could hold it a little longer here, and hold Mario in the air while the piranha plant is sort of anticipating back, just for like 2 or 3 more frames, just so I can read Mario in the air as the piranha plant sort of holds back. I think that would really help you out. And similar to this note here, where he jumps, you keep the foot on the ground. I think you could have like the body and the legs lead here, if you can see what I've drawn. Something just again, I know it's an extra drawing, but I think that would really help to have the legs leading here before he comes down, and a little bit more. As you can see, he stays up in the air for a little longer. But on this bit coming down, there'll be a bit more stretch in the torso and the head. I'm going to draw it next to it. It's just a little bit more stretch like that. And as I said at the beginning, the major note, when Mario hits the ground, I think you could have a little squash, a tiny bit more squash, and so he holds more in this frame, which I love. He holds more here with a bit of a squash as an anticipation. I'm gonna write that antic before he like pops out, and I drew the head of where I imagine he would be. So just a couple more frames of him leaving the shot. And as for the piranha plant, I think you could get a little bit more of the piranha coming back, a bit more curve in the stem, and then as it shoots forward, you have this curve here where it's being led from this point. It's pulling from there, and then boom, it just really pulls. So you can really feel the stretch here. And by having the stretch here, you can have, see, comes out, and then sort of snaps back a bit again. So you can get a little bit more overshoot in the piranha plant. And same here, I think these two, it feels like you might have rushed this end bit, as I said at the beginning. I think you could probably get another frame in here between 205 and 206, just as the piranha plant is coming forward. And there was something I noticed with the pot, and I think this is to do with trying to get the piranha out of the shot as quick as possible. It feels really weighted throughout. Like the pot, if you watch the entire shot, the pot sort of doesn't really move. It kind of rocks back and forth. So it feels very weighted. But when it jumps, I kind of think you lose the weight in the pot. And that's because there's such a large spacing between, these frames and that frame. So from 207 to 209, I think the pot kind of like jumps a bit, especially these two frames. So I drew, just roughly what I imagine the pot would do. It would probably, pop up in the air, but then it would maybe hold up in the middle a little bit, just to show that it's quite heavy, which means it would end up landing somewhere about here, which means then you'd have to get it jumping back out again. And I think you'd end up with like a lot more frames, and that's why I can understand why you did it. It's just what I think would have felt a bit better, getting a little bit more weight in there. It's really trying to jump out. You know, I think that would have helped you. And the same with Mario. I think if he had like got a little bit more stretch and you held him up in the air a little bit longer here before running out. Rough drawings, but it's just more overall. It's just a timing thing. Yeah, and like a couple of more drawings, obviously between these two. I think that would really help you not rush the end bit. I think this review is probably a lot quicker than the other ones, mostly because I had gone through it already and sort of figured out what I was going to tell you. But yeah, this looks absolutely lovely, and I would love to see some more 2D animation from you, and maybe even some 3D at some point. But yeah, I think I would love to see if you do, if you do these notes. I'd love to see how it looks, and if you don't, I appreciate you listening. There was actually one more note that I didn't tell you. It was just this, just a little tongue as the piranha is about to sort of eat Mario. I just think that you could have got a little, overlap of the tongue just sort of spilling out of the piranha. Just noticed that one. All right. Let's just see if there's any more. Yeah, I'll send this. I'll download this and I'll send the sketches to you so you can have a look yourself and go through it. But yeah, really good shot and well done for winning. Take care.